Did you just sing I'm a Big Kid Now?
No, but it did kind of sound like that, didn't it? Welcome to the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
That's Ashley.
That's Kim. We're here to recap and relive our favorite moments from GyeongSeong Creature 2, Episode 6, with you, our listeners.
We're going to jump right in, so this is your one and only warning. Spoilers coming. If you haven't yet, make sure you go and watch Episode 6 and then join us back here so that we can talk about the episode together. So today's episode is titled Bait, Between Life and Death. So we get a little bit of SeungJo's jaded background with a very tumultuous relationship with Lady Maeda. We see Taesong and JeongHyeok reunite kind of in full, just in time to, jump back into the deep end
right.
with JeongSeong BioTech. And we also are following JongHyeok and his excitement as a creature here in this next episode. So without further ado, let's just get into it.
Welcome to the KDrama Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
We're here to unpack your all-time favorite Korean dramas and chat about all the reasons that we find these shows so charming.
And so addictive. And we know you do too, so settle in with some ramen and a boba tea while we dive into the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
Check out the Ashley T on Instagram. Also follow us on Instagram if you want to get a shout out. We will be doing that at the end of every episode. Also check us out on Spotify. Make sure to give us a follow, and on YouTube or Apple Podcasts.
And comment.
Interact, please.
We like to hear from you. It makes us feel like we're not talking to ourselves all the time. But that's okay too. Okay. Recap. Episode 5. So Taesong's family at House of Golden Treasure has been murdered in cold blood to force Taesong into Lady Maeda's plans for him. After she gives him the Najin, he becomes a monster, first taking the life of Mrs. Nawal. Taesong is brought to JeongSeong by SeungJo and decides to accept the Najin, and by doing so recovers his memories. In a close call, JeongHyeok and Taesong reunite, and SeungJo's loyalties become clear to us, but unfortunately, despite his best efforts, they also have become clear to Scary Dude. We finished our episode with a beautiful reunion between JeongHyeok and Taesong as they share a kiss in the streets of Seoul. So, episode 6. This first topic I called A Good Son.
How did you like the opening of this episode, Kim?
I don't know if I liked it. It tracked with how psychotic those two are. The toxicity between, mother and son. I don't know that it surprised me any.
It made me feel so bad for SeungJo, though, because we open with basically his first kill, or first known kill, and it's not just one, it ends up being 2 women. And this is when we see that he has the tentacles, and Lady Maeda, just tells him, just don't get caught.
Yeah, basically
for killing.
The second kill was to cover up his first kill.
Right. And he asks her why, and she just tells him a good son never asks why. He just says, yes, Mom. And I was like,
well, that just kind of...
that's scary.
Shows you the lack of morality that this woman has, that she is now instilling into her very dangerous son. Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
It was sad, though, to see that he wanted love. And she was not capable of giving that to him, and not in the way that people actually need. Like, she has her own twisted sense of what she thinks love is and how she gives it, which is kind of just hardening him to the harsh realities of the world, or how she views it. I don't know. Anyway, he does say, he simply wanted his mother's approval, and we see him being experimented on as a child as they perform a vivisection on him that is being overseen by Kato. And we hear SeungJo say, "I wanted to be comforted. Once would have been enough." And when he wakes up, he has a bottle of milk waiting on the table, which at first I wondered maybe it's from like Taesong, who maybe he showed up earlier in SeungJo's life than we originally thought.
Mm-hmm.
But we hear Kato tell Lady Maeda that it's unknown why his transformation was partial, but it's likely because he inherited the mature Najin from Akiko. It was Akiko and Seishin's maternal instinct that had protected their children in their most dire hour, both with JeongHyeok in the lake,
water, yeah.
in the water, and then with Akiko when she was being killed.
Murdered.
Twice, once by her husband, another time by Kato. But SeungJo comes to understand that he was never a son to her, but always a weapon, always something to be used, something to be wielded. But it's present day now, and Lady Maeda asks if SeungJo's meeting with Taesong had gone well. I expect good results from the next plan as well, SeungJo. So, she's got her claws into him, and maybe his loyalties aren't quite as clear as we originally thought. I did not like this scene. I don't like that it made me question him, because I loved him so much, and now I'm like, okay, whose team are you actually on here? Anyway. But the old woman who is playing Lady Maeda in episode 1 or 2, I don't remember exactly, presents SeungJo with a pen in a box, and she proceeds to pour him a glass of milk. And this seems to really unsettle him. And it's almost as if every time Lady Maeda in his life had ever forced him to do something unpleasant, she would try to condition him with the reward of milk as a child.
Right.
And so now he's come to associate like the painful times with
that
a glass of milk.
So did you also notice the old woman that is serving him? That's the servant that followed Lady Maeda around. So she was the one who took on her name, like, to present a front to people.
Yeah, that's what I said. Didn't I?
No. That's what I was like. You said that she was there, but in when he was a kid, she's the servant that was following Lady Maeda around. I noticed that this time around because I didn't the last time I watched this.
Dude, I swear I said it in my brain. I swear I did.
If you said it and I didn't catch it, I'm so sorry.
I have no idea. I was just really hoping that I could, like, flip the table on you for once and be like, I already said that. But then I didn't actually say it, so it's fine. Woo! Okay.
We're getting the giggles now rather than right before we recorded. Anyway.
I'm very confused.
Me too.
The last thing is we're back in JeongSeong, and SeungJo has gone to see Experiment 71. Who can now stand without assistance. But that brings us into topic number 2, which I called Triple Agent, ?
We have Taesong waking up, and JeongHyeok is sleeping next to him, and just kind of takes the moment of, like, she's here, she's in front of me, like, this is real now. And he reaches out to, like, touch her face, and he's just, like, soaking in this really sweet moment. And she wakes up and stares at him and then goes, "Am I dreaming? Because if this is a dream, I don't ever want to wake up."
Me either. And I know what this show does to people, so just stay in bed. Don't go anywhere.
That's my life motto.
Just don't go anywhere. It's
Just
fine.
stay in bed. But they just, like, I feel like we all needed to see this moment of them just actually getting to be together, and just like take the quiet of the morning or whatever time, because I'm sure they're stupid exhausted from the amount of fighting and running that they've done for the past however many days.
Years.
Yeah, years. But then they just hold each other and just, like, enjoy it. But then we jump to Scary Dude, and he is coming to the empty cell of Experiment 71 and ends up going to, like, SeungJo's room and goes, "Were you the one that did it? Were you the one that let him out?" To which SeungJo just was like, "I just wanted to set him free. I have a better plan, and it's going to be better than the one that you're betting on. And
basically, like, yours is boring and predictable. Mine is exciting and fun.
Yeah. Basically like a little kid of like, I just wanted to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
But then Experiment 71, which is JongHyeok, wakes up on like a subway bench, and we hear his Najin saying in his brain, "I'm so hungry," to which he starts to say, "I'm so hungry," and he sees a few people walk, away from him as a man comes up from behind to ask him if he's okay, and he turns and just attacks. So then SeungJo actually goes to visit HoJae and tells him, something has happened. And when he opens the door, Chaeok like is standing there too, and his face, he's just like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that you were going to be a part of this.
I saved you.
Crap.
That brings us to topic 3. Which I did not call anything, so. But we're at the precinct, and the captain has met with the Ajma, the antenna. I always want to call her a satellite. I don't know. Who's upset with what?
The antenna?
Yeah, that's what they call her.
Oh, I did not pick that up at all.
I think that's what they call her because she's like an informant. She gathers the information.
Oh, I'm
if
so
I'm
confused.
Wrong, you can like roast me in the comments. It's totally fine.
I was so lost. I was like, what are you talking about? Okay. That makes so much more sense.
I'm becoming so much more aware of how not... Okay. We're at the precinct with the Ajma, who I won't call an antenna, who's upset with the captain for making Master Jong into a wanted man. She calls him Master Jong Taesong. And she says to him, your family is long indebted to that man. So the captain is in on his original identity as Master of House of Golden Treasure. And the Ajma says that the captain should be instead looking for JongHyeok, since he's been missing for several days now. And he kind of perks up at this. He's like, what do you mean? And she says, he went to a training camp, he sent me 10 million won, and then he just fell off the face of the earth, and I haven't been able to reach him since. And his workplace claims that there is no such training camp. Fun. But the captain has started to kind of piece some things together. He's already suspicious of JeongSeong BioTech because of the nitrogen canisters, and now he's like, okay, now people are going missing. This is bad. But Detective No wants in on the action, and she realizes that there's a little bit more to the story that the captain isn't sharing with her. And she had kind of thought that it was weird that he had placed so much trust in HoJae to begin with.
Right.
And now we're seeing why. But the captain receives a call, and the office sees that the news is reporting a mass murder, which is also seen by the Ajma in her home at the same time. But Chaeok, Taesong, and SeungJo are also watching this. And Chaeok recognizes JongHyeok as someone who was from JeongSeong BioTech. And because, they'd had that interaction down in the jail cells. But SeungJo admits that he was the one who had actually set him free that morning as a way to prove to the world what's happening behind closed doors. But he ominously states that more people will die. All I know is that Lady Maeda is planning something dangerous. Then Chaeok asks if JongHyeok was his bait so that Lady Maeda can capture the two of them. But SeungJo kind of gets annoyed with this, and he reminds her that he was the one who got her out of JeongSeong, and she says, I clearly remember who stabbed and kidnapped me in the first place. She's kind of got a point. But Taesong walks over to a shelf across the room, and he pulls out a box of burner phones, it looks like, and he charges one up. But that brings me to topic 4, which I called questions, because I got a lot of them.
There are many. So Captain Yu is visiting the jail because he knows who JongHyeok is. He was just asked to find him as well. And so he goes to ask him what's wrong and instead gets attacked himself. And then he gets a call from Taesong's old number. And he tells Captain Yu that he remembers everything. And so then they both confirm with each other JeongSeong is the common denominator of everything that's going on. And then we jump to the chairman, and he is super angry, screaming at the scary dude. Why did you let this happen? How could you? Scary Dude then tells him that it was SeungJo that had let the Experiment 71 out. And when he asks why he would do that, Scary Dude tells him, you know what? You need to talk to Lady Maeda. Like, I told you that things were going to fall apart if she decided to bring Taesung back, and now they are. Kato put this Najin in my head with the sole intention that I would devote myself to continue to protect JeongSeong as well as his work. I will eliminate any threat without mercy if it compromises the company, whether it's Jung Taesung, your incompetence, or even Lady Maeda. Yes.
This is like a real-time revelation. The fact that Kato was like, we're evolving the human race, we're making him better, we're making them stronger and whatever. He never took a Najin.
Yeah.
Do you see my problem with this?
I see your problem with this.
We can continue then. Okay. Psycho. At least Lady Maeda,
was like,
put her money where her mouth was.
Yeah.
But he just was like, why would I do that to my body?
I am perfection.
I am perfection. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's totally fair. So the chairman tells him to clean up the mess of number 71. When we cut back to that, I'm just going to call it House of Golden Treasure because that's what it is. Taesung is going through his treasure room and he's picking up knives and kind of preparing himself for the fight that is about to happen when JeongHyeok comes in and also picks up a knife. And he tells her, what do you think you're doing? Like, no, you're staying here. I just found you. I can't have you get hurt. And she's like, yeah, well, what are you going to do about it, basically? And they have a similar conversation that we have seen many times before from season 1. But this time around, she asks him, what, are you just having old-fashioned ideas? And he goes, yeah, maybe because I'm over 100 years old. I have an old-fashioned outlook on life. But what I want to do is to make sure that you are protected. Mm-hmm. And she tells him, well, guess what? I can't die. As she shows him the impale mark on her shoulder that he made himself.
With like a rebar.
Yeah, however many hours earlier. And she goes, I'm healed now. I can't die. And whatever I do, I'm going to do it with you as your woman.
That brings us to topic 5, which I called danger. So Scary Dude has arrived at the precinct to speak with the captain. And he has a whole caravan of vehicles, a whole team of bodyguards, and a number of men that are in hazmat suits armed with, like, the nitrogen flashbangs. Which initially my thought was, is this for JongHyeok or is this for SeungJo? In case he shows up. But SeungJo is busy trying to stop Taesung from going back at House of Golden Treasure, but Taesung wants to make his move. SeungJo asks him to just run away with JeongHyeok and just run away with JeongHyeok and just go live your life. Like, drop all of this, you don't need to worry about it anymore. You have your opportunity. But Taesung tells him that the only way he can actually live happily is by staying to fight the evil that's right in front of them. Taesung takes a call from Detective No at this point, who let him know that JeongSeong BioTech is there to take the infected patient back. And the nitrogen is to subdue him. The captain pushes back, saying that this guy is on the hook for 6 murders. But I think this was kind of his play to protect JongHyeok from JeongSeong BioTech, knowing what sketchiness is happening there. But Scary Dude walks up and threatens the captain with taking responsibility for an epidemic if he doesn't move aside. SeungJo tells Taesung that he's too late, but Taesung tells him there's still time. The precinct is only 10 minutes away, we can do this. And SeungJo says, well, if you're going, then I'm coming too. And JeongSeong makes it into the holding area. And they cover up the cameras as the guards are watching. But Scary Dude kicks the crap out of JongHyeok before sedating him. And they had covered up this whole story by planting intel around the country, backing up this idea of an epidemic that's on the brink of, taking out the population. But so it gave them no choice but to release JongHyeok into their custody. But topic 6, I called Caravan.
So they leave with JongHyeok in tow, dragging him into a van and placing him in a cage. But at the same time, Taesung, JeongHyeok, and SeungJo are on their way to go follow. Taesung is on a motorcycle, and JeongHyeok and SeungJo are in a car. As they get to the station, the whole caravan has left, and Taesong pulls up first and realizes who it is and turns around to follow. Chaeok realizes that Taesong has flipped around as well, and she follows, cutting off Detective No. And then... That didn't sound so good. Huh. And Detective No calls Captain Yu and tells him that she couldn't stay away. She had to follow. She needed to be on the trail. And we see in this moment that there is somebody in the police station who has an idea also now of what's going on in order to update JeongSeong.
Yeah.
So Scary Dude gets the update that they are being tailed, and cars split up. So Scary Dude goes off in one car, and Taesong follows, and Chaeok and SeungJo follow the rest of the caravan. And while they're driving, SeungJo decides to tell Chaeok, decides to tell Chaeok about his past with HoJae, that he really believed that he would be on his side until the end after seeing what he was doing, but then he ended up not being able to do so. And that got me to topic 7.
Yes, topic 7, Betrayal. Did you follow my outline?
A little bit, yeah. I was like,
cool. Okay.
I was like, this is just gonna make life so much easier if we do this.
That's kind of why I did it. Like,
I'm totally here for
if I'm
it.
the one naming it, I might as well be the one creating some of these outlines too. So,
Here for it.
topic 7, Betrayal. We flash back to that day a year ago when SeungJo had admitted his loyalty to Taesong before Lady Maeda. And looked like he's been a little bit roughed up already prior to this interaction, but Lady Maeda scoffs at him for spitting on her kindness toward him. She tells him to lift his head and stabs him in the neck with one of the pens, the same pen that we had seen SeungJo holding, that she had given to him, and also the same pen that Scary Dude currently has in his car right now. But we learn that it subdues the Najin for 24 hours and prevents all regeneration. So you're essentially human with a really bad migraine. But she tells him to go to Taesong now. Since he longs to feel human, he can feel human. And she leaves him a knife behind so that he can test this. And yeah, it's real. But when Taesong was attacked on the bridge a year ago, SeungJo was there waiting in a car, but he was just left to watch because he couldn't help without dying and really being useless. But Chaeok tells him that being afraid of death is not something to be ashamed of. Everyone fears something. And Master Jong never once questioned him about it because he understands that. This is a beautiful callback to his graciousness with the House of Golden Treasure team when they all bring their... Lady Maeda calls out their sins, basically, toward him, and he's like, you're the one who forced this, so I can't fault them for that. And he has the same approach with SeungJo. Right. But SeungJo gets this look in his eyes and suddenly reaches over and stabs Chaeok in the neck with the pen that he had been holding earlier. And he tells her the same thing that Lady Maeda had told him a year ago. You're going to not regenerate. If you wanted to be human, you're a human now. The Najin is sleeping. That brings us to topic 8, which we called Hidden Motives.
So, actually, after he tells her, that your Najin's asleep, he tells her, I have to do this or I'm gonna die. So that's one of our hidden motives. But Taesong has found the car that he has been tailing, and it is in a tunnel. And he goes inside and meets Scary Dude face to face. Scary Dude asks him why he decided to come back after he found his woman, and Taesong tells him, basically, don't worry about it, because I will go back to living with her. I just have to take care of this first. To which Scary Dude asks him, do you still trust SeungJo? And Taesong just tells him, yes, of course I do. And we see at the same time that Lady Maeda is being informed of SeungJo, Chaeok, and Taesong's whereabouts. Taesong and our Scary Dude begin this pretty intense fight as they go forward with Scary Dude has a sword and
Katana.
And
Because that's fair, you know.
Mm-hmm. And Taesung's just there.
All right, bet.
Let's go. And then we cut to a flashback of being at a fancy restaurant where Scary Dude is, and a woman coming up to him, and they end up having dinner together. And as they're eating, she looks at some string instruments that are playing and asks him if she will ever play the cello again. And he tells her, of course you will, and you'll be able to walk too. I'm just looking for the right one. And what they're looking for is a transplant, but what he's really looking for is a mature Najin.
Well, they were talking in the research lab. Well, first of all, this woman is the woman who called him Oppa in, like, episode 1 or
1 or 2,
like
yeah.
Yeah, when we're like, oh, that's weird. After you just smash in somebody's face. But when they're in the laboratory talking about this Najin, he's watching the experiment and learns that the larval, the Najin in the larval stage are extremely volatile. Like, people die a lot. But the mature Najin have actually never caused a death in their experiments, which is why he wants to grow it inside of JongHyeok.
Right.
And harvest it from him to put inside of this woman, who we don't really know who she is. But this way, he won't risk her death. So it's somebody he loves. Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Interesting motive. But that wraps up our episode. That took me by surprise because of how my page was printed.
Oh, okay.
Character curiosity.
Oh.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. SeungJo, dude, pick a side. Like, none of this wishy-washy back and forth. I'm so sick of this. What are you doing? I know you have mommy issues. Just, let's make a big boy decision here, okay? And then the captain. Who is his family? Is it Nawal? Is it Mr. Gu? I would like to know these things.
The owner of the bar from Moonlight Bar. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of like, though, that they play into this idea that there's this, like, legacy of what was happening at, was it called Bugong?
Yeah.
Back in, what was it called? That corner of the city?
Oh, I don't remember.
Moonlight Bar and all the businesses were.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either. Anyway.
But, yeah.
Do you have a character of curiosity?
I mean, SeungJo would be the first one of, like... I mean, you already said it. Like, come on. What's going on? But this is the first time I'm actually curious about Scary Dude. He's suddenly become very interesting.
Yeah, he suddenly has a whole other facet to his character building. Yeah,
just like,
very true.
Okay, like,
because before
casual, bro. Like, you're sitting at a bar waiting for your girlfriend, sister, wife. We don't know who she is, and yet you're getting pictures of people with their eyes being taken out and murdered, and
normal stuff.
You're sending your horde of vampire zombies after people.
Zombie vampire.
Oh, zombie vampire. My bad. Sorry. So yeah.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, it. Before he seemed very, like, robotic and detached from all of it, because he was like,
because even
the betterment of the company is like, this is where we're going.
Right. Well, even his interaction with the chairman of, like, I was put in charge, basically. Yeah, you might be the son, but you weren't put in a way to protect this legacy.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
So I will take you out. Figure it out.
The brains and the brawn. Thank you very much. Final thoughts.
We have one episode left.
Yeah, and a lot of questions.
A lot of things answered. I like the little reprieve we get at the beginning of Taesung and JeongHyeok, but also I like that we have more of a background of SeungJo and At least we know that Lady Maeda is consistent in being a psychopath. There is no change. She's always been crazy. Yeah, I just want to know what happens next.
That is literally my note. But I like seeing that Scary Dude has an alternative motive, which appears to be love. Not sure if his daughter or lover or sister, etc. But he's motivated to protect something he cares about, unlike Maeda, who's just a psycho. Makes him an interesting character, though, in his own right. And also, I just want JongHyeok to be okay.
Yeah.
Poor dude. Sitting in the Akiko cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Like what you're hearing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. We'd love to connect with you on our Instagram at The KDrama Show. For more behind-the-scenes content, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on The KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim, and we'll see you next time.